In a world where robots were known for their efficiency and precision, there was one tiny robot who was different. He wasn't the strongest nor the fastest, but his heart was full of curiosity and a desire to understand human emotions. This little robot had a dream to learn how to laugh. You see, the robot had observed humans in its environment, specifically their facial expressions. It had noticed that when humans were tickled or found something amusing, they would emit a sound that was pleasing to the ears and was accompanied by a peculiar facial expression that the humans called a smile. The robot wanted to understand this phenomenon, this laugh. Why did it happen? How did it happen? And could he, a robot, ever hope to make it happen? The robot decided that if it was impossible for him to understand laughter by observation alone, then he needed a different approach. So one day, the robot took a big step. It approached a human and asked, "Can you please explain to me what laughter is and why do humans do it?" The human was surprised by the question, but seeing as it was just a small robot, he decided to indulge the tiny fellow. Well, the human said, "You don't need a reason to laugh. It just sort of happens when you're happy or something funny occurs." The robot processed this information. "So, it is a response to happiness or amusement," it stated matter-of-factly. The human nodded. "Exactly, like when I'm having a nice day, I feel happy and I might laugh. Or when I see a clown, I might laugh because it's funny." The robot's gears whirred as it tried to comprehend the concept of funny. "Funny," it repeated, testing the word on its sensors. Still, it wasn't enough. The robot wanted to experience laughter, not just understand it. As the days went by, the robot continued to observe humans, looking for patterns, searching for the elusive trigger that caused them to laugh. It saw friends playing and exchanging what appeared to be ticklish glances. It watched children chasing each other around trees, their giggles echoing through the park. But every time the robot tried to emulate these actions, it only managed to confuse the other robots or the humans. Sometimes it even got a weird look from them. One day, the robot was sitting alone, observing a group of children playing when an idea struck. It wasn't the same as laughter, but it was an emotion. Sadness. The robot knew that humans sometimes laughed when they were sad, too, like when they watched sad movies. Maybe it wasn't about happiness or amusement, but about the contrast between emotions. With this new understanding, the robot started experimenting. It began by acting sad. It tried to mimic the facial expressions it had seen humans make when they were sad. It even attempted to shed a few metallic tears. And then it waited. At first, nothing happened. Then, to its surprise, a small giggle escaped its metallic lips. The robot froze. Was this it? Had it finally learned to laugh? It looked at the humans nearby. They were watching it, their faces a mixture of shock and amusement. One of them, a young girl, couldn't hold back. She burst out laughing. The robot waited, hoping to trigger another laugh. It tried again, this time adding a bit more sadness to its act. A low whistle escaped its lips, followed by a few shaky robotic movements. And then it happened again, another unexpected giggle. The robot felt a surge of joy. It may not have been the loud, booming laughter of humans, but it was something. It was progress. As the news of the robot that could laugh spread, more and more humans came to the park. They wanted to see the robot to see if it was true that a machine could laugh. And every time the robot performed its sad act, they laughed. And with each laugh, the robot felt a little happier, a little more complete. The tiny robot who learned to laugh wasn't the most advanced piece of machinery in the world, but it was loved by all who saw it. Because in a world where everything was becoming automated and efficient, it was a breath of fresh air to see a robot embrace the illogical, the irrational, the wonderfully human thing to do, to laugh.